They always said money changes people. They just never said whose. I wasn't born into wealth. I built it brick by invisible brick, while everyone around me acted like I was the family's background noise. For years, I let them believe I was still the quiet sister working in some dusty antique shop, counting pennies while they counted blessings. But the truth was worth $12 million, and it came crashing out one Thanksgiving night. You know how families love to pretend everything's fine over turkey and fake gratitude? That's where it happened to Mom in my whole life, and their illusion of control blew wide open. I guess I should start from the beginning. Growing up, I learned early that love in my family came with a hierarchy. My sister Rachel sat at the top like a glittering trophy everyone worshipped. I was somewhere below the cleaning supplies. When she was born premature, she became the family miracle. I became the girl who brought home A's nobody framed. Mom hovered over Rachel like she was made of spun glass. Dad called her our fighter. Me, I was so independent, which really just meant invisible. At 8 years old, I understood germs could get me exiled. One sneeze, and I'd be packed off to Grandma Marie's. Grandma's house smelled like vanilla and old books, and sometimes I wished I could just stay there forever. She'd hand me her jewelry box, full of rhinestones and tarnished silver, and tell me every piece had a story. I think that's when I first started listening to the quiet details other people ignore. By 12, I'd figured out that attention wasn't something you earned in my family, it was something you stole. But I didn't want to become Rachel 2.0, performing helplessness for applause. Instead, I learned to build things they couldn't see. A mind that organized chaos. A drive no one could smother. While Rachel wind her way out of chores, I was teaching myself how to play bridge over troubled water on an out-of-tune piano. No one came to the recital, but that song stayed with me. The irony never left either. High school became my testing ground. Clubs, debate team, National Honor Society. Did it all. Half out of ambition, half out of spite. The less they noticed, the more I accomplished. When I scored a perfect 1600 on the SAT, I thought maybe they'd look at me differently. Instead, Mom told me to keep it down because Rachel was studying for her English quiz. The same quiz she got a C on and still earned a wee re. So proud of you, magnet on the fridge. I kept the SAT paper. Not for validation, just proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy. That excellence really could go unseen if the spotlight was permanently fixed somewhere else. College was my escape hatch. I handled every form, every scholarship, every essay myself, because I knew asking for help would just become another guilt trip. When the acceptance letter from the University of Michigan came with a full ride, no less I sat in the library and cried. Not from sadness, from relief, from tatini trembling belief that maybe I could finally build a life that belonged only to me. Mom's first reaction, Michigan's so far. What if Rachel needs you? Rachel's, can I have your room? Yeah. That about sums it up. But distance is a beautiful thing. Once I hit campus, I realized how quiet freedom can be. Nobody comparing me. Nobody shrinking me. I studied art history, obsessed over antique jewelry, and worked part-time at a diner just to keep busy. The owner, Carol, used to call me the Quiet Storm. Said people like me didn't explode, we rebuilt entire worlds in silence. When I landed an internship at a Detroit auction house, that storm finally started to move. It wasn't glamorous work cataloging estate sales, cleaning dust off forgotten treasures, but it felt right. I belonged among things with hidden value. One day, while sorting through what everyone thought was costume jewelry, I spotted a brooch that didn't feel right. The weight, the clasp, the craftsmanship. It whispered history. I spent nights researching maker marks, poring over gemology databases, connecting dots no one else saw. When I presented my findings to my boss, who barely remembered my name, he brushed me off, until the piece sold for $47,000. That changed everything. For the first time, someone looked at me and saw worth. Within a year, I was handling high-end authentication projects, learning the ropes of the trade, and saving every spare dollar. My family still thought I worked in that little antique shop. I didn't bother correcting them. There was power in their underestimation. By 29, I'd outgrown the auction house and decided to take the leap. Everyone called me crazy except Grandma Marie. She handed me a $500 envelope and said, "For the first step of your own story." That money became my seed. I rented a dingy office above a Chinese restaurant that always smelled like Kung Pao chicken and dreams deferred. The first months were brutal. I woke up in cold sweats, juggling debt and hope in equal measure. But then, word spread. People liked how meticulous I was, how I treated every item like a mystery worth solving. One discovery led to another, and suddenly, I wasn't the invisible sister anymore. Was the woman collectors called when everyone else gave up? Year 3, I'd hired an assistant, moved downtown, and turned that so-called little antique shop into one of the fastest-growing authentication firms in the Midwest. I had clients in New York, Chicago, even London. My commissions hit 6 figures. But to my parents, I was still the sweet one, living off ramen and goodwill. They had no idea I was the anonymous source quietly sending them thousands of dollars a month to keep their house afloat. They thought it came from Aunt Kelly. I let them think that too. The secrecy became addictive. There's a thrill in being underestimated. I had to sit at Sunday dinners wearing a $3,000 cashmere sweater they thought was from Target. Listen to Rachel brag about her $200 Michael Kors watch, while I wore a vintage Patek Philippe worth more than her car. The irony: could have bought a yacht. Success doesn't erase pain, just redefines who holds the knife. My business grew, my confidence hardened, and I built everything they told me I couldn't have. But underneath it all was a simmering question. What happens when the people who ignored you finally notice? I found out on Thanksgiving. Mom called 2 weeks before, voice trembling about her bad back and how she couldn't cook for 20 people. Normally, I'd have declined politely, but that year, something inside me shifted. "I'll handle it," I told her. "I'll cater the whole thing." "Oh, honey, we can't afford that," she said. "Don't worry about the cost," I replied. "I've been saving." She actually asked if I was taking out a loan. The day arrived, crisp and cold. I hired one of Detroit's best catering companies. Maple glazed Brussels, truffle mashed potatoes, champagne cranberry sauce. Food that tasted like freedom. I brought my laptop, too, because I was monitoring a live Hong Kong auction for a client. Everything went perfectly until Rachel barged into my old bedroom, uninvited, still treating my space like it was hers. I was in the middle of checking auction bids, multiple tabs, open company accounts, contracts, profit reports. She wanted my charger. Of course she did. Then she saw the screen. At first, she thought it was a joke. Her laugh was that smug little bark she always used when she thought she had something on me. "Let's show everyone what our little antique dealer is really doing," she said. And before I could react, she grabbed my laptop and strutted toward the dining room. Picture this. 20 relatives, half drunk on Chardonnay, turning as Rachel holds my laptop up like a trophy. "Time to see what Sarah's really been up to," she announced. The room went silent. On the screen in glaring detail, my business dashboard, client contracts, pending invoices on the bank balance north of $12 million. For a heartbeat, no one breathed. Then chaos. Mom started laughing, high and shrill. "Don't be silly. Sarah works at that little antique shop." I stood, smoothing my sweater. "Actually, Mom," I said quietly, "I own one of the largest jewelry authentication firms in the country. That little shop has offices in 3 cities. You could have heard a diamond drop." Dad choked on his drink. Aunt Kelly's fork hit the floor. Rachel's face morphed from triumph to nausea. Then came the explosion. "You have millions, and you let us struggle," Mom shrieked. "Struggle," I said. "I send you thousands of dollars a month." She slammed her hand on the table, while sitting on millions. "Your sister has student loans. She deserves some of that money." There it was, the old hierarchy. Rachel crying, Dad yelling, Mom declaring that family means sharing. Something inside me snapped. "Raised me," I said. "You shipped me off to Grandma's every time I sneezed. You missed every award. Every milestone. Every damn moment because Rachel might feel left out. You didn't pay a cent for my college. Every dollar I have, I earned myself. The words echoed. Years of silence, condensed into one roar. Desert was served in awkward silence while my parents argued about how to spend my money. I grabbed my laptop, slung my bag over my shoulder, and walked out without another word. Behind me, I heard Mom saying, "We'll figure out what's fair." That night, my phone exploded. Mom cycling from outrage to manipulation. How dare you? Your sister deserves a share. We could finally buy a better house. Rachel, of course, took it to social media. A full rant about her greedy millionaire sister. Comments flooded in from relatives preaching about family duty. Flying monkeys. Every one of them. When they showed up at my office Monday morning, yes. Actually showed up, something in me crystallized. My receptionist looked terrified as Mom, Dad, and Rachel sat in the lobby, demanding to speak with me. "We've decided what's fair," Mom said when I stepped out. "You'll set up trust funds for everyone." Rachel chimed in. "I'll need at least $2 million to get started. And your father and I are thinking of retiring early," Mom added. I stared at them. Calm. Frozen. Years of being invisible had trained me for this exact moment. "You think I owe you?" I said softly. "For what?" "The years you ignored me. The graduations you skipped." Mom crossed her arms. "Don't be dramatic, Sarah. We gave you everything." "No," I said. "I gave myself everything." Then I took out my phone and canceled their monthly transfer right there, in front of them. Rachel's jaw dropped. Mom gasped. They refused to leave until I called security. Watching two 60-year-olds get escorted out while yelling about ungrateful children was surreal, but liberating. I changed my numbers, upgraded my home security. I had to send a formal legal notice. That quieted them fast. Grandma Marie called soon after, her voice warm, amused. "Good for you, kid," she said. "About time someone in this family learned boundaries." That was 6 months ago. Now, I wake up every morning in a home I paid for with my own grit. My company is thriving. Rachel's still posting vague quotes about toxic wealth online. Mom tells people they never wanted my money anyway. Sure. But me, I'm done shrinking to fit anyone's comfort. For years, I chased validation from people who could barely see me. Now, I understand that some walls are meant to be climbed, meant to be walked away from. They say money changes people. Maybe. But sometimes it just reveals who they always were. And who you were always meant to be. Thanks for watching. And if you've ever felt invisible, remember your worth isn't defined by who sees it. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.